So what I'm going to explore here in this video is another trick that we can do with super amplifying reflective surfaces. Here's a Stanford Dragon. This is the Xyz Dragon. I think Graham Dretsch converted this one for me. We're using Mesh Lab, and it's quite a complex model, which is nice because we're going to be using its surface properties and its surface geometry to generate this effect. Now I'm just going to switch to my overhead view. You can see I'm in the default Bryce sky. I can select the plane there and get rid of it and create a cube in the default grey material. This will be, and I'm just going to enlarge this cube so it encompasses the camera and our model. So if you just render that now, you can see that the model's outlined, and this is atmospheric haze that's causing that effect. Well, I don't want that in this render. We're not using that, so I'm turning the atmosphere off. I'm going to set it to fully black just in case there's any leakages in the edge of this cube, and I'm going to turn the sun off. So at the moment you should be able to see nothing at all. Now I'm going to modify the material of the cube, which is still selected, so that it has no diffuse and an ambient output of 1. So that's ambient coming from this channel, which is white, and from the global ambient, which is currently grey. So as things stand, it would be very difficult to detect the difference between the dragon's colour, which is black, which I don't even know if that counts as a colour, so that's just black, and the very, very slightly grey colour of the inside of the cube that's being lit by this ambient channel. Now, if I select the dragon and modify the dragon's material, I'm going to get rid of the diffuse and provide reflection. As things stand, 100 reflection would not be enough to do anything with the ambient. All it'll mean is that the dragon will be now the same brightness as its background, but by using an amplifying channel here in the alpha channel, so I'll show you how to set this up as I have in the other videos. What we need to do is go to basic, select this check blue, go into the deep text editor, and I need to open these dialogues, go into noise. It wants to be distance squared, minimum octaves 1, and a frequency of -1. Set that up there, and if I just turn off the colour and the bump output, you can see you get the stripy effect, which is what we're looking for. That's a highly negative value. If I drag that across into component 2 and use difference in the combinational mode there and select this channel and make it nothing, that will drive that very positive. So this is an exceedingly positive value now. So what's happening is with a reflection over 100, we're getting a light amplification. So now if I drop out of here and render, the dragon looks very bright because the low level of lighting coming through the ambient channel is getting amplified by the reflection. And you can also see there's a few little black spots in here. Now you've got to bear in mind that the reflection can see itself, so there's some kind of self-interaction taking place, but it's too bright to do anything with. Now if we go back into the material for this, you may recall with metallicity, this causes the diffuse colour to come through the reflection where the camera is viewing this surface perpendicular on the mesh. Now if I just turn metallicity on now, I'll give it a strong colour. In fact, I'll just make it this bright red. That should be fully red there. This is not enough to overcome the reflection. The reflection is just too strong. I'll show you that it's not making any difference in the render except for tiny modification to these spots because the reflection's so high. It's just getting drowned out by the white. However, if we could increase this metallicity, say by using this channel to drive it, so go into metallicity here, you can see now that the metallicity has been so strong it's suppressed all the reflection. Now if I just check this is alpha scaling, what you can do is you can reduce the level of metallicity, but even at very low levels it's still too metallic. The metallicity is too high to be overcome by the reflection. Again, it's this balancing act between components. So what we can do is I can add this to the library, so that's now my last one here, and bring that in to the B channel to control the metallicity. Whoops, I don't want bump. And I'll just modify this so it's alpha scaling, yes, so I'll bring this in that I've just created, and then I'm going to reduce the output of this by going into the deep text editor, dragging this nothing component over to here using multiply and a sine function. Oops, not in that channel, in this channel. So put the sine function in the third component there, and then I'll wind this down, and you just watch here the stripes begin to separate, so it's coming into a range where it means something. And this is very low level compared with this, but still much higher than the normal 100 output of the alpha channel. So now, using this scaling factor here, we might be able to get the metallicity into a range, just into a range where it's becoming usable. So let's try 0.05, okay, I'll try 0.08. So now that you automatically get specular for some reason with reflection. It's sort of thrown in as a bonus. So that's why that dot's there, but we're not really worried about that, so we'll just not meddle with that. So this is the metallicity effect. It's suppressing us where the view where we're facing the camera. We've got this red and then the white where the reflection's overcoming the red. So the white's where the background's been amplified. So in actual fact, we're getting a sort of outlining effect from this. Obviously it uses are limited because it's working in a reflective possibility, but it does create an interesting effect. So let's have a look how this looks in the render. Oh, and the other beauty of this is that it renders very quickly indeed. So I'm gonna increase the metallicity to bring that outline in. It's sent it out. I need to go the other way down to so let's see, let's try 0.06. Okay, so that's thickened the amount of red we've got up on this. So you can see now fairly quickly, we can rotate the dragon in the space and just how the effect changes. It's quite interesting. It's obviously of limited use, but it's still an interesting effect. And it's all being lit from just the little bit of ambient that's on the outside of this box, which I can demonstrate by, if I turn the global ambient off, the dragon disappears. And I don't know how low we can go with this grey value in here and still get an output. If I give that a luminance of 1, the effect is still possible to drive it even with exceedingly low levels ambient. Just shows how powerful that reflection property is and how high that value must be to still drive this effect. So there you go. That's another little video covering this out of range values as that works with reflection and metallicity. So in some ways it's similar to the neon outlining effect, but in other ways it sort of shares things with the effect of creating abstracts with super reflective surfaces. And in all likelihood, by the time I've finished this sentence, this render will be complete. Okay, it took a little bit longer than that. So I hope you found this interesting and that you'll try this out in your own renders.